What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel. And in the end, it finished PSV 1, Arsenal 1. We finished top of the group as we knew we would do. It was the definitive dead rubber. And of course, now that we've qualified top of that group, everyone will say, well, it was an easy group. And we did make it seem like an easy group. But I do want to remind everybody that Lens finished second in Ligue 1 last season. PSV are top of the Eredivisie. And Sevilla have an impeccable record in Europe. Obviously not in the Champions League, but they're not pushovers. So Arteta has achieved something that Arsene Wenger wasn't able to do in his first Champions League. He qualified quite comfortably top of the group with a game to spare. And seems like the wrong time to really criticise him. But this game, we all knew, was going to be a really important chance to rest key players for the upcoming Sunday fixture against Brighton and the game after it, Liverpool. We need our players as rested as possible to get their best performances out of them. And so we all expected, in fact, I had no idea what to expect from the lineup. I really thought this could be a chance to really rest most of our first team. But we do have some players out at the moment. We have Partey and Timber and Tomiyasu and Fabio Vieira out. So it wasn't going to be a full second string team. But of course, Ramsdale getting his first game in the Champions League, very well deserved, and I don't think he was really at fault for the goal that was conceded. And it was just great to see him playing with a smile on his face. If anyone deserves a chance to play in the Champions League, it's him. It's not like Raya has been performing miles ahead of him. And seeing Jakub Kiwior play at left back, we're probably going to need him to play there. Zinchenko rested on the bench, really good to see. A chance to see Reiss Nelson, who on the night really performed quite well. Only had 60 minutes so far in the league, and you do have to wonder why he's not being picked at all. But the thing I don't understand from this game was, given that there was nothing really to play for and the result honestly didn't matter, isn't it surprising that we didn't see more youngsters? Well, look, there were two academy players on the pitch. Reiss Nelson, who's had 60 minutes all season, and Eddie Nketiah, who's a first-team regular now, or at least a squad regular. But we saw Cedric playing at right-back when Rui Walters was on the bench. Sousa didn't come on, and he probably would have been a good chance to see him play at left-back. I know Kiwior needs to get some game time there because we'll probably need him there. Look, I know that Ethan Nwaneri's only 16 years old, so it's still probably too soon for him. But Rui Walters is 18. Towards the end of last season, people were talking about he was going to get some game time. Now, Arteta afterwards said that this didn't seem like the right kind of game. But the question I would have is, if this isn't the right game to give Rui Walters some time, or Sousa some time, or to throw Ethan Nwaneri on for a little bit, then when is going to be? Because the FA Cup game we've got coming up is against Liverpool at home. I don't see him playing the youngsters in that. And if he does, it'll be back to the same old criticism of not taking competition seriously enough. Is the problem that Arteta really doesn't rate the academy players? I mean, Charlie Patino springs to mind. In the FA Cup when we played Forest a couple of seasons ago, and it was a terrible performance, but everyone was really excited that Charlie Patino was going to get his start. Since then, it's totally gone for him. In fact, he was supposed to be leaving the club on a permanent transfer and instead went on loan to Swansea. But he scored 2 in the last 3 games for them. Last season, he was on loan at Blackpool all season, and he did really quite well for the first half of the season at least. He's young. He's 20 years old. Other teams, you think he would have got a chance. Liverpool blood their youngsters. Pep Guardiola does it. Even Ten Hag, who doesn't have a clue at the moment who to play, is chucking on Kobbie Mainoo. Is this something we should be worried about? Because we do have really talented players in the academy. We have Kozia Dubry, we have Miles Lewis-Skelly, we have Ethan Nwaneri, we have Rui Walters. There's a bunch of them. If I was one of those players now looking at this, I might be worried that I'm never going to get a chance. This season, it's really hard for me to see where Rui Walters does come in. And if we do have to throw him in now, he'll be coming in completely rusty, unblooded, untested, untried. Look, I'm not critical of Arteta a great deal because I'm really thrilled with the change he's brought about. But is this a manager who just doesn't rate the academy? And is he right to not rate the academy? I really wanted to see what these players could do. And he said, PSV away is a very tricky fixture. It is, but if there's nothing on it, let's say we'd lost 4-0 and we'd seen Rui Walters, we'd seen Sousa. If Ethan Nwaneri had come on, Kozia Dubry possibly for that matter, well, then we could see for ourselves if they're ready or not. I personally think Kozia Dubry has a huge potential at our club, and I'm worried that we're not seeing him. Overall, the rest of the match, pretty good performances. Kai Havertz not as great as we've come to expect him, not winning his duels. Eddie Nketiah's goal. Just every time I do a video where I say he's not quite good enough, he does something like did tonight, and that was a really well taken goal. We saw Declan Rice at centre-back, which, he started off as a centre-back, gives us options, because with only 5 first-team defenders, it's hard to see us getting through these next 4-5 games, if you can count the FA Cup, without any injuries or any problems. So we are going to need some versatility. Shame that Elneny, who, again, looked really solid, and every time he plays, he looks pretty solid, seems to have picked up an injury. Trossard was good, if not amazing. And, Jorginho gives you what Jorginho gives you. He is so dependable. But did we miss a trick tonight in not seeing some exciting new talent? Are we destined not to see the Haaland boys come on and really capture our hearts? It's worth remembering that the only reason Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka really got game time under Arteta is because he had to play them. Now that he's been able to strengthen the squad, at least to some degree, it seems more likely that he's going to bring players in. Anyway, I am pleased that we qualified. I do think he's doing a great job, and everything comes down to how we perform against Brighton on the weekend. And I'm glad that players were rested that we're going to need. Brighton have a tough game against Marseille on the Thursday, so we're going to have a few extra days rest. And I think we'll win that game, and hopefully we can go to Anfield and get something more than we did last season, or at least get a draw again. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you so much for all the comments recently and the support you've been showing. And until I see you again, be lucky. Lots of love.